All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving headfirst into an incredibly tough industry, oilfield services. Success out here, it's about so much more than just having the right equipment. It's really built on grit, on reputation. We're going to break down exactly how one company, B&B Roustabout, managed to become a leader in this super demanding world. Let's get right into it.
So this really brings us to the core question, doesn't it? In an industry where just performing under pressure is, well, it's the bare minimum, what actually builds a lasting reputation? How do you earn that deep level of trust when the stakes are always so incredibly high? So here's how we're going to deconstruct this, using B&B's story as our guide. We're going to look at 5 key areas. First, we'll set the scene by looking at this tough business environment. Then we'll get into the human element and the operational edge you need to even compete. After that, we'll see how that creates a strategic footprint, and finally, we'll tie it all together with the 5 big pillars of trust that really form a reputation.
Okay, first up, let's just set the stage. The oilfield services world. It operates on a totally different level of pressure. Out here, your reputation isn't just some nice to have. It is, without a doubt, your most valuable asset. I mean, think about it for a second. Clients absolutely need partners who show up on time and get the job done flawlessly, every single time. There's just zero room for error. And it's against this relentless backdrop that companies have to prove themselves over and over again. So if that's the environment, how do you even begin to succeed in it? Well, that brings us right to our second section, the human element. Because let's be honest, the best, most expensive equipment in the world is completely useless without the right people behind it. The whole leadership philosophy here seems to boil down to these 3 things: grit, hard work, and multi-generational knowledge. Now, this isn't just some corporate buzzword salad. It actually points to a culture where experience isn't just learned on the job, it's literally passed down. And here's what I think is the most crucial part. Their leadership has truly walked the walk. We're talking about leaders who started out in the field, getting their hands dirty, not sitting in a corner office. That kind of hands-on experience gives them this fundamental understanding of the day-to-day risks, the practicalities, and the challenges their teams are facing, and that just shapes every single decision they make. And you can see how that leadership approach directly impacts the crews on the ground. The simple fact that they say, "Many have been with us for years," well, that speaks volumes. Low turnover means you get these experienced, tight-knit teams. And what's the result? Well, it's greater efficiency, more reliability, and a culture of just getting the job done right the first time, every time. All right, let's move on to our third pillar, the operational edge. This is all about the tangibles, the stuff you can see and touch. We're talking about a proactive safety culture and the heavy-duty equipment that actually defines what they're capable of doing. In this business, safety isn't just an option. For B&B, it's very clearly an embedded part of their culture, not just some box-checking exercise. Through things like a safety pledge, daily on-site briefings, and constant equipment inspections, they've built this proactive system that's designed to spot and minimize risk before it ever becomes a problem.
And of course, you absolutely need the right tools for the job. Their arsenal has pretty much everything, from dozers and graders for building roads to really specialized welding and pipeline gear. And that also includes things like lowboys, which are absolutely essential for hauling all that heavy equipment through the kind of remote, rugged terrain you find all over the Mountain West. This kind of versatility means they can adapt and tackle some pretty major logistical hurdles.
So, having the right people and the right tools is absolutely critical. But where do you actually put them to work? Well, that matters just as much. And that brings us to Section 4, their strategic footprint. This is where they leverage a really powerful combination. See, being based in Vernal, Utah, gives them this deep, ground-level, boots-on-the-ground knowledge of the local terrain, the local regulations. But they don't stop there. They've also got a presence in Wyoming and Colorado, which gives them the capacity of a much bigger regional player. It really is the best of both worlds. You get that local expertise backed by regional power. And that brings us to our final section, the part where all of these different pieces finally come together. Let's synthesize all these factors and see exactly how they combine to build what is truly the most important currency in the oil field: trust.
So here it is, the whole formula for their reputation, laid out. It starts with field-tested leadership that actually understands the ground reality. Then you add a proactive embedded safety culture. You back that up with versatile equipment that's ready for any challenge. You staff it with experienced long-term crews that ensure reliability. And finally, you wrap it all in a strategic footprint that perfectly blends local knowledge with regional power. That's the package.
So we've broken down the 5 pillars that this company really presents as its foundation.
But, this leaves us with one final thought to chew on. In an industry this critical, this complex, what else, beyond these 5 factors, is truly fundamental for long-term success? For earning that unwavering trust, what do you think might be the missing piece of the puzzle?